Mr. Kumar. Taj values, the kind of leadership that Taj demonstrates as an organization, and the leadership that it propagates through its people.
Yes.
And the culture, the behavior, so everything. There is something
Correct.
definitely additional in Taj,
Yeah.
which is nowhere else.
Yeah, that's it.
So, what is it that you do actually? What is the magic? I think you are the right person. You are the best person.
Right.
So tell me the secrets.
Well, you see, I would say begin by saying that perhaps there is no other organization in the world that is so complete, so holistic as the Tata Group, and I say it with a lot of pride. And I think I'm quite qualified enough to say that because I'm second generation Tata, and I've been with the Tata Group and Taj for the last 38 years. So it's been a way of life. It's not a job. And if you ask me what is it that actually makes the Taj so special, is what we call the Tajness. It's the spirit of the Taj. And that spirit is something that you feel, it goes to your body, mind and soul. It is not something that's measurable. It is not something that you can actually imbibe by kind of going through some management development program. It is something that actually you absorb, you imbibe, it becomes part of you. It has become so much of an integral part of you as you go along in the company, in your journey of life. Having said that, I think the Tajness of today, the kind of image and ethos that the outside world gets to know about Taj, especially the 26th level, is not just happened overnight. It has taken generations of people, employees, associates who have worked in this organization for the last 100 years, 100 year plus.
You have people who have worked for
generations.
Generations.
Grandfather to father to son. And I'm sure it will continue.
You have such people in the organization?
Yes, many.
Okay.
Many such people. So it has taken generations of people for a very long time who have actually understood and how did they come back to the Taj and work again. There is some magic about the Taj, and that magic is not in terms of material benefits. It's not in terms of the careers. It's not in terms of the fame and material comfort that you get out of it. I think it's about the sense of belongingness. It's about being taking pride in the fact that you're working for an organization that is so unique. So what are the things that are so unique about the Taj? I think one of the things that is a magnetic attraction to anyone who starts working in the Taj is that there's a huge bonding. There is a family-like bonding in the institution. It's an institution. It's not a hotel. And so therefore, there's anyone who starts working in the Taj feels that this is a nursery. This is a university where you learn, continue to learn. There is a certain sense of accommodation. There's a certain sense of, like how you go to a family home. When you go to a family home, even if you're not belonging to that family home, you have somebody who's a friend of that family home, and then you go there and as a guest, and then the matriarch of the family takes care of you, gives you food. So you see, it's something like that. The Taj means a lot to India. The Taj Mahal Hotel in Bombay is an epitome of excellence, world-class excellence for Indians. So this is a building that actually has transformed itself into an institution, and it has stood the test of times for centuries. So in a sense, the hotel industry, hospitality industry from the Eastern Hemisphere follows a very different philosophy as against the Western Hemisphere. The Western philosophy is very driven from the left side of the brain. It's all about logic, it's all about processes, it's all about approaches, methodic, everything that actually can be counted. Whereas the Eastern philosophy is all about spiritualism, it's all about the mind, it's all about the heart. And I think that is what hospitality in the true sense means. It's all about not the quantifiable, not the measurable aspect of it. It is the experience that we said. It is about, once you come into the Taj, it's not just about the chandeliers, it's not about the marble, or it's not just about the artwork that's around the place. It's about the people that make the difference. And the way they actually welcome our guests, the way they actually look after the guests, the way they actually cook the food for the guests, or actually takes care of the guest comfort, is as if, each employee takes it upon his or her responsibility to make that person feel at home. Long before the technological advent, we remember the names of the guests who would come back to the Taj. So when someone comes back after about, let's say, 7 months or 6 months, and there is this receptionist or the bellboy or the watchman himself, the porch guard, who recognize the guest by his name.
You had CRM
How
long
does it
before
happen?
it was even thought of.
Absolutely. See, so that is the human mind. If you really are so passionate and so involved, and you take pride in the fact that I'm a porch guard. I'm the first person to welcome the guests, and I'm the Taj. That feeling comes into the person. He remembers hundreds of names, right? And then that's the magic. So from the time when you get out of the car, guest is welcomed by his first name, and is taken along, and then all along right through the room, and wherever he goes in the hotel, his preferences, his likes, his family members. He himself is so familiar with so many faces in the Taj. So it's the same thing can be replicated by any hotel anywhere in the world. Food, or the beautiful deco, the design, the tables, the crockery, anything can be are things that can be replicated. Anyone can buy it, but they can't buy the spirit of the Taj people.
The DNA of Taj.
The DNA of the Taj, and this DNA of the Taj is arising out of the fact that, for me, I know this is where I learn. So it's about growth. It's about learning. These are the two powerful elements that keep the employees within the Taj. The other thing is, Taj may not necessarily be the best paymasters, but when it comes to life is not all about counted in money and rupee and anaya paise.
Of course, when you have generations of people working for you,
That's right.
so that certainly is not the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So life is also beyond just the salary that you get at the end of the month. Life could be about, okay, suddenly you have some illness in the family. Your father is not well, your mother is not well. The Taj comes to the help. The Taj will go out of the way to ensure that that the employee is taken care of. Then housing, basic necessities of life. Most of the employees actually get help in getting various things. But more importantly, it's about the value system of the Taj that is so very sacrosanct. You see, the value system of the Taj. There's a card like this.
Zoom it.
Every single employee actually keeps this card.
Okay.
It's called the Credo card, the Taj Credo.
All right.
So you have this. Then I'll show you the value systems here. As you can see, this is a little card that we proudly carry in our pockets, and then we imbibe.
So it's
So
not
in-
surprising there are no employees at Taj. Everybody is an owner.
Everybody is an owner. Everybody actually has a huge stake in this company, because for us it's a lifetime journey. And even those who actually go beyond, they go out to the Taj, they probably look for greener pastures, but they always remain aligned to the Taj, connected with the Taj, people with the Taj. There is no disconnection with the Taj. It is difficult for me to explain in measurable terms or in real words what is this feeling. But I can say that, for example, people diversity, integrity, and respect. Okay, so we believe in, we are the true. It's a mini India. The Taj is a mini India. We are very secular. We respect every creed, every community.
But your secularism is not anti-religious,
Absolutely not. Not at all.
as in most of the places.
Gender equality.
Yeah.
We have huge respect for women, and there are a lot of lady employees who actually work with the Taj for generations, and then integrity. The integrity is something that we practice, in line with the Tata philosophy. You know, we sign, each and every one of us sign, a certain undertaking to
But what
ensure.
surprises me, the process that you are mentioning, that are there. I think any good organization has your vision statement, mission statement. They're very good. If you read vision, I think most of the organizations have very good vision, mission
Yes,
statement.
yes.
But that getting translated and imbibed in people's heart. I just want to know. I'm wondering what kind of training system you have. But
You know, okay, let me say, it all begins with the leadership. It all begins with the head of the family. If the head of the family, I'm starting from the Tata leadership, the Taj leadership, they set the tone. You know, it's like the Prime Minister of India. I mean, the head of anything. If that person, actually walks the talk, it believes in the philosophy, propagates the philosophy, and becomes a role model, then the whole entire
so the mantra
organization
is walk the talk.
is walk the talk.
Okay.
Leadership should walk the talk. And when you become a Tata man, you automatically actually, get yourself integrated towards that philosophy of integrity. We value it immensely. For us, it is a trust. The nation trusts you. If you see the Tata, the tagline is trust. Okay?
Absolutely.
Tata trust. So this Tata trust is priceless. It actually spans centuries.
So that trust has actually made those people sacrifice their lives, and at a time when they had option. See, there are times when you don't have a choice, so you fight.
Yeah.
But when you have a very convenient choice of, and no blame, of course, because you're not a soldier, but still you're fighting. So there is definitely something more than.
You see, that let me tell you, for us, we say, when the first thing that we are teaching our associates as the employees that they join the Taj is that guest is God. Guest is God. So they say, can you explain further about this guest is God? How do you live up to it? It's a very, very, very high idealistic
Statement, yes.
platform
Yeah.
to say guest is God. So how do you treat God? It says first and foremost, guest is God. And the way we translate that is, we never say no to a guest. We never say no to a guest. If a guest wants to have breakfast at 1 o'clock in the morning, it's given to a person. If a guest, so whatever the guest actually is expecting and asking us to do, deliver, we do it. Okay? So like the way famous battle cry, my duty is to, not to ask why, but to do and die. In a sense, actually, that's literally what probably some of our associates did on the 26/11. Where did that spirit come from? The spirit came from the fact that every single employee owns the guest. So therefore, on that day, those people who are inside that hotel took it upon themselves that it is my moment. I have to put my hand up and be counted to protect my guest. Normally we are not used to protecting the lives of guests. We are usually are there to create experiences, to make the guest feel absolutely happy and delighted, and and create lasting memories. But here was that rarest of the rare moment in the history of the Taj, when a lot of our associates are called upon unexpectedly to protect the lives of the guest. And the way in which they went about doing was reflected on their huge intensity, their huge connection with the spirit of the Taj. They did not mind facing up, at close range, the bullets of the terrorists, but they made sure that they lived the spirit that guest is God.
The coffee shop person.
The God has to be protected.
Yeah.
This goes back to even centuries ago, when in many ways, when there was an invasion to the nation, a lot of temples and everything was actually being protected.
Yeah.
Right? Even at the
That
cost of
passion,
lives. So it's the same passion.
It's the same passion.
Yeah. So and this passion comes out of the fact that Eastern philosophy believes in emotion. So there is a high emotion connect. Otherwise, in the Western philosophy, it's all about, they'll define it as a job. So this is just a job. It's a hotel, so it's a job.
A responsibility
My
ends
a
here.
job, and then I disconnect, and I have my own my life.
Yeah.
But for us, this is life. Taj is life. And I'm a living example of that myself, because my wife is a social activist.
Okay.
She actually is the other end of the spectrum. She is looking after the underprivileged, the poor as the poor, and I'm here looking after a very different profile of people. and both
But
my
through them, you are actually looking after taking care of poorest of poor.
Absolutely. So you see, you need to create wealth for the nation, like what late Mr. J.R.D. Tata said. You have to create wealth for the nation, and then after that, make sure that the wealth is distributed equally to the to everyone, to all in the society. So coming back to this whole ethos of Tajness, okay. The growth is fundamental to any employee. Growth is fundamental, more than material benefits. If you see in any sector, whether it's a doctor, engineer, technologist, a manager, or professional advocate, after you pass out of your college, you tend to actually join the best of the institution, the one which actually has a world-class name. That world-class institution may not necessarily be the best paymaster in the campus interview. But you join that. A fresh graduate who is aspiring to become one of the best professionals in his lifetime would always intelligently take an intelligent choice to join an institution that can teach you. Because what you learn in the university is only basic, is fundamental. But as you go out into the world, what you learn from the institution, a world-class company of your choice in the sector in which you have chosen, it teaches you practical knowledge, what they don't teach you in the university. They teach you real life situations. They actually make you a leader. They actually make you a complete human being. So there are these different dimensions of of your young mind that an organization gives shape and form to.
So do you think spirituality also has a role to play here? Because you mentioned spirit and connect. So the spirituality, first before starting that, what is your perception about spirituality? What is your take on it?
Well, you're actually preaching to the converted. My life has always been a journey of spiritualism. I very strongly believe in spiritualism, philosophy, and I'm very proud of it. I'm also a religious person. I also believe, they say that you have two types of bhakt, correct? Karma bhakt and then who actually prays in front of the God. Right?
It's a regular bhakt.
Regular bhakt. Okay. Yeah. So you have spiritualism is in a way a manifestation of your inner self. Okay, you connect with the universe. You go beyond what you see. You go beyond what you see. You go beyond what you teach. If you have, developing that capability to see life in the larger context, correct? Not the immediate benefits that you get. What and you keep asking you keep asking yourself the question: who am I? What am I? Where do I go? In our mundane life that we live for 70 or 80 years.
Quest for self-awareness.
Yes, how many of us? 10% of the whole population in the world actually talks about who am I? What am I? Those are metaphysics states level. But I think. The world is now, 6 billion people are there. At least about, let's say, 1 billion people are actually getting into the middle class and upper middle class or rich class. They understand that even you may have all the riches in the world, but but ultimately, are you happy? So when you ask that question, happy, then that encompasses spiritualism.
So happiness, like when a person can be called happy?
Well, see, that is a search that you do for yourself. Happiness is something that you need to ask yourself, what will make you happy? And keep asking that question. For example, okay, I want to get a better job. Oh, then after that, what happened? Okay, then I want to have a car. Okay, then what happened? Then I want to have a house. So you keep asking all that.
Because that's a continuous quest to search for happiness makes a person greedy at times also and do all different kind of things.
Possible. In that quest for acquisition, in the process you may actually succumb to a lot of temptations and do things. But you can always recover. Right? But at the end of the day, so you have now acquired everything that you want. And then you ask the question, are you happy? No, because I don't get sleep. I don't get mental peace. I do not have friends. My friends measure me from what I give or take. So what is the real happiness? You know, by the time we actually, the tragedy is that by the time we actually discover happiness, it's a bit too late in life. You know, there's not much left then. So I think the next generation is, searching for that happiness, the true definition of happiness from a very early stage onwards.
So we at management
So
colleges,
in a sense, what I would advocate is that you may not necessarily be able to discover complete happiness, but you can start thinking of it from a very early age. So in a so Rajasthani food became popular, Goan food became popular, then we came to south of India. So we actually changed the whole image of India, seeing that from the south there are so much of seafood, so much of exotic hinterland food that we can serve. India is based with, it has a huge repertoire of great food. We are still discovering that. We have not documented it. It has passed on from generation to generation, but today it faces the danger of extinction because the next generation of people, both girls and boys, are not working in their home kitchens.
instant food.
Yeah, they are all going out. So when they get married, they will not know how to continue this whole tradition of home food. So we are starting in the Taj. In my division, I started a brand, a movement called Home Food by Homemakers at Gateway Hotels. Home Food by Homemakers at Gateway Hotels. This is a brand. And in the 25 locations that we have hotels, what I've done is I've actually gone around and identified homemakers who are excellent cooks at home, talk to the families, whether it's a husband, father, mother, and requested them to support that woman in the house to come over and spend 2 hours in our kitchen, in a home kitchen. We created a home kitchen in the hotel. We bought home utensils. We bought home masalas. We've got
Even though
kitchen
you serve them in thalis.
Yes, we serve them exactly like how it is served in home food. The only difference is the mother or the wife is not there to serve. Instead of that, we have our people, but we also serve it with heart. So now this has been relished by a lot of people. So in every Gateway hotel, we have in the coffee shop one section called Home Food by Homemakers at Gateway. So there, like Jodhpur, if you go to Jodhpur, it is not Rajasthani food, but the Jodhpur food. So if you go to Varanasi, it will be not UP food, it is Varanasi food.
There are certain very specific dishes. Kadhi, there was some kadhi.
Anything, the aloo is actually, dum aloo or the aloo banarasi is a famous dish, dum aloo banarasi. Now that's famous. But there is a way of baking it. So we have mastered that through the help of these homemakers. They are getting employment also. We are paying them well. We give them food, we drop them back home, then they come back in the evening. So, in the process, what is happening? The Taj is propagating the ancient home foods of India to the outside.
So, can it be transported through your help in management colleges, the same philosophy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What we need to do is, we need to actually mass media. If, for instance, you make this into a film about the Taj, the Tajness as a management education. What has it taken Taj to become a world-class organization? What has it taken Taj to retain and attract generations of employees to continue to work for this organization?
We'll be doing a case study on it actually.
And that case study should be propagated and in a mass communication level to all the colleges in India. And then, it gets imbibed. Because Taj is a role model. Taj is a role model in many ways for leadership. And it's highly respected. So it's not necessary that it can only be for hotel management graduates. It can actually be for any
professional, not only
any spheres of leadership. It's about service management.